to a rather warm Saxthorpe Farms. Oh, it's so hot in the UK at the moment. So, at the end of the last video, I was still working on the contract on the huge field. I have finished that now. I don't remember if I claimed the cash or not. I will check that. Yes, we did. £42,000. So done that. I had to take out a very small loan to be able to pay some workers. So what we're going to do is we are going to pay that back now from the money from that first contract. So that's that loan paid off. It's quite cool that we're going to keep the history as well. So I asked about better contracts and the discount, and people said yes. So we are going to activate that. And the popular answer was 25%. The smallest I can go is 5%. So we're going to go for 5 contracts at 5%. Because that's the I would rather do smaller, but I'm not going to go and edit the mod to do that. So that's that. Same version of the map as last time. It has been submitted to Mod Hub now, so it's now just a case of waiting. And so skipped ahead to September. Our sunflowers are ready to harvest, so I'm going to work on harvest those. The potatoes are ready to harvest. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to plough those in or not yet. And we have harvesting contracts on fields 11, 16, 28 and 24. So I'm going to get course play going on field 11 with auto drive. That's going down to Saxthorpe grain. So I've done some auto drive setup so that it can do that. So we will get to work getting these set up. We got over 20,400 liters because there are some oats in one of the combines. So when the oat price is good, that's going to be another huge chunk of cash. If we check, we will wait for it to tip and then we'll check time saving stock check. So yeah, we're looking at probably it's going to be over £20,000 from the excess crop as well, which is awesome. So there are some oats in one of the combines. So we'll just have a quick look and see which one it is. It is this one. The combines also need a refuel and I need to get another trailer. Because if we're going to have 2 combines harvesting different crops, then we need a way of carting those crops. So my plan is to do a really bad job of turning around. The plan is to buy a slightly smaller Richard Weston and put that on the Agrostar. I think that should work okay. So the Agrostar is up at the store waiting for me to make that purchase. We need to buy some fuel. I'm going to buy 2,000 litres. I think we're going to get through quite a lot of fuel doing these harvesting contracts. So I will, let's get courseplay going. So we'll use this combine. We'll head over to field 11. I think I'm going to use the 7250 and the bigger trailer to cart for that, just to keep it running a little bit smoother. I will head over there and I will see you when we are all set up. Well, that's impressive. Courseplay has managed to generate a course for this rather odd-shaped field. So I went for field 11 because it's quite close to the carting point. It is a big field, but if we need to, we can easily supplement with our combine. I did a whole load of auto drive setup between videos, so hopefully that will work okay. So we're going to go field 11, wait, we're going to go, I think it's Saxthorpe Green 2. Let's just double check. Field 11, Saxthorpe Green 2. And this can just be set off from here, I believe. If the combine's not in the way. Let's help it out and get it out of the yard. There we go. Then we will go back over here. We're going to get our new trailer. So we're going to get another Richard Weston. I thought we'd go for the smaller, the SF14. So it still holds 16,000 litres, which is a decent amount. I'm going to buy that as well. And this is, you know, going to serve two purposes. So me and my two things. So the first one is it means we can have a contract running and we can be harvesting our own field. Should have put the front loader over to pick those forks up. Oh well. The other is that it means we can, when we're doing so some of these contracts are, they all go to Saxthorpe Grain, Bay 1 or 2, but some of them are much longer carts. So these 3 are the top of the map, so they're going to be a much longer cart. So probably I will need 2 carters running. Just going to do that. I'm going to jump in the combine. We need to put the header out of the way. We need to grab the corn header. We need to refuel this combine as well. Both combines were pretty empty by the time we finished. I think I managed to harvest until about 7:30 at night. And then got a super early start, and it took us till midday-ish to finish the harvest on the contract field. So it was a big job. It was a big job, but it went pretty well. While that's filling, I'm going to go open the shed up so that we can get to the header. There we go. And yeah, we'll get these sunflowers off. So I'm going to do similar to what I did in the oat field. So I'll have auto drive running carting, and I can do the combining. It's a big field. It's our biggest field, so it might take a while. We only have the 1 sunflower header, so probably there'll be some fairly hefty jump cuts, or I might switch video format. So it's I said it's a very hot day here. I'm not actually in Norfolk, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously. So it's currently 28 degrees in the spare room that I'm sitting in, and rising. So yeah, I may end up stopping and just doing what I do normally in my videos and playing, and then I'll sort out the voice afterwards, because it's very hot. So I'm going to switch on the network, so you'll see that we actually need to open some of this field up before we can put auto drive on. So what I've done is I've done an entire loop round both of these fields. You can see the loop for field 11 there. I've then done a loop that runs, so I've done a one-way course all the way up here, or two-way course, I guess, that runs up this little track, and then 2 one-ways which loop and join it all together. I've done the loop down to the store as well. And I don't remember what else. So, but first thing I need to do is open up the start of this field so that we can get the carter in and not have to worry about him running over sunflowers. So I'm hoping, the reason that I've done it this way around is I think sunflowers should be a lower yield, and obviously they're just going to our farm silo, so they've not got to go so far. We're right on the entrance to the farm, so they can just pretty quickly nip down there, tip, and we'll be good. And it is an immense field. I'll show you again in a moment. you will have seen it in the last video where I was spraying it anyway, but it is a pretty immense field. And that should do. So we can go. I haven't sorted some of these yet, so we're going to go field 10 weight on him. And on this one, we will go to combine unload, field 10 weight, and this one is going to the farm silo. And then I'll jump in and quickly get the combine out of the way. Or not. Didn't quite take enough of that edge. Oh well. You get the idea. The theory was good. So these videos are proving to be quite popular. Obviously, this is a map that is not available yet. It's been submitted to Giants, as said. Farms and Briscoe submitted it a few days ago, I think. So going to be a couple of weeks while it waits to get through the queue to be tested. Yeah, so there's always this thing with you start playing a new map and you get loads of reviews and then it kind of slowly decays off, and we'll see how this one does. But I've been really looking forward to playing this, and then it's just been so hot that it's not really wanted to actually do very much of anything at all. So yeah, there is that. The combine, the first combine has emptied. Awesome. All working well. So the fact that it's not made it around the headland and it's had to empty is interesting. So because there are 3 contracts that are canola that all go to the same sell point, there is a chance that it will probably deliver for the wrong contract. So we might harvest this field and not be able to complete it. My plan, because I don't think there are any other, apart from starting to plough in the potatoes, which I might do, probably. And there's a good chance this video will span a couple of days, but probably I will spend some time off camera through September finishing up some of these harvesting contracts. And it might mean, just have a look, we might start to knock down, I need to do the maths and work out, we need to keep enough to be able to pay loans back until about March, when contracts dry up in, the planting window. It said contracts are going to dry up about October, November, probably. So we've got to do 4 months at least of paying back the loan. So we're going to need, 50 grand, I think, in the bank. Come on, auto save. Get around the corner. Yes, I'll payment just over 11 grand. So yeah, probably 50. I'd like to have about 60 grand in the bank going into the winter period, so that we know our loan payments are covered. Then any crops that we sell, we can use for more interesting things like buying more land. So we've got the discount that you saw me enable. I had a bunch of other suggestions for mods. So you people suggested dynamic field prices. I have not added that in, and the reason that I haven't is I don't want to make this too easy. So because I would probably wait and buy fields when they are cheaper, because I want to buy the whole map anyway. So there's no benefit in me going, well, I need, I'm going to have to pay more for the ones that are close. We'll just buy the ones that are far away and cheap at this point. So we're already getting a 25% discount. So I didn't want to go any further than that. I am expecting this will be a long series. I have forgotten to add in. We might go and do that actually. So the other suggestion I had, I have downloaded it and put it in the mods folder, I just forgot to enable it, was the Bushel Plus mod. And what that does is it allows you to calibrate your combine, and it gives you a 10% boost in yield, which is going to really help. So I'm going to add that one in. I might go and do it when we finish this headland. So the reason I didn't, we're going to be making 10% more on our combinable crops. We're saving potentially up to 25% on field prices. I suspect that will be the case on most. Probably not the grass ones that I'm interested in buying, but on some of the others we'll be saving some cash. So I did remember someone did say that the discount shows but doesn't always apply, so that's interesting. I forgot to call the combine the carter, so cut in a little bit, give them a bit of room. It's too busy gassing away. There they come. Cool. Yeah, so I've not added that in. I don't know if it's yeah, so it did take on that one as well. So we've already got a 5% discount on there, which is pretty cool. So, but yeah, our field is a 10-hectare field. One that we harvested, so it's twice the size of the one we harvested before. We do have the same size header, so that's not too bad. It looks like it's, I've said, done a course along the road, so I know that's like the other Deutz. I've lost me tractor. Oh yeah. Are you round yet? No. There you gone. Okay, yeah, it's coming up the road there. It's stuck. Oh, auto drive. You are so special. You are so special. We'll just, we better be back in the combine. So that he comes over. There it is. Yeah, so I guess it's because there's a loop around both fields and there's a loop along the track, and there are entrances. We would have gone past them along here, along that side. There's an entrance and exit to both fields. So where are you going? I think we are going to intervene. So that's I'm going to need to run to the end, turn around anyway. Very annoying. I think it's because it's the first headland, and so it's struggling with the path finding around the field. So hopefully once we've got the field opened up a bit, it'll start behaving. The other combine has done the first headland, so that seems to be working pretty well, which is cool. Obviously we're paying worker wages, so I think once we're done with harvest stuff, I'll probably rely on workers a little bit less for a little while. Things aren't going to be particularly hectic because we only have field 9 to plant with. Field 9 is going to be oats, and we've got quite a while to plant those. We've got 3 months, so obviously the earlier getting planted the better, but we've got plenty of time, so I think I can do all of the work on those jobs, and we'll just save a little bit of cash on wages, because the less we spend on those, the more we can spend on land, which with this kind of series, if you watched the competitive multiplayer that Cartech and I did, land is king. Particularly not doing animals. The way we're going to make money is land. So the more land I can buy and farm, the better. Yeah, we're going to get 3 decent crops, and I think potentially, we're going to make a nice amount of cash off of these 3 fields. We'll get excess crop off of all of the harvest contracts, hopefully, so that'll help as well. And yeah, so long term on here, we're going to have slightly bigger kit. It would be nice to have slightly bigger combines, but I don't think we're going to have huge combines. I see us probably always running 2 combines in the bigger fields, and ideally I'd be running 2 combines in this field. It's quite a narrow field, but you know, ideally I would be doing that, and probably we'll just have a fleet of, you know, depending on, yeah, if we ever get to the point where we're struggling to do all the jobs I want to do, we might be buy some more combines. The same with everything else. I said I'm going to keep it to medium kit. I think we might get the odd large bit, but you know, getting around some of these fields, I think is going to be better with medium size kit. Yeah, we might have the odd. So Norfolk is an interesting farming area. They do grow a lot of sunflowers, I think. And it is an area, we've still got those bales to deal with as well. It is an area where they do have some bigger farming equipment. So there's been a few news articles on quad tracks there. So that's an option. We could go quad track. You know, it's maybe I'm contradict myself instantly and say that maybe in longer into the future we might have some bigger kit. Obviously the benefit of having bigger kit is we can do contracts faster with one worker rather than many, but I have not checked. We've got just about got time. I need to keep checking the sales for kit that we need. You don't really need a telehandler yet. I'm not going to buy the potato harvester. There is a truck in there, but I don't want to get a US truck. So I'll have a look in a bit at the truck that I fancy getting. But I do think so that I can actually get this done in a sensible way, that I will switch to my more normal style video in a bit. And that way I can just kind of jump ahead easily and stuff. I'm going to jump back in this guy and switch that on. And try and call him now. By the time we get to the end of this first headland, there will be a nice clear track for them to get around the field. The course that I drove was kind of within that first headland, so that should work, because I've got avoid fruit set and then sticks of fields, so it kind of gets a bit confusing, I guess, for auto drive. But hopefully, oh god, where are you going auto drive? Jeez. You can't get the star, can you? Amusing. I watched Farm Sim Guy's short on how to stop auto drive doing that, and I have those set, and it's still doing it. So you know, there you go. I think it's because avoid fruit is set, and so it's trying to get round before the field was opened up without a route that went round the field course. So the reason I always like to now do a two-way course around the field is it makes it much easier for auto drive to quickly pick up the auto drive course and then, you know, be linked back onto the network. It's not going to make it, I don't think. Getting good yield off of here, actually. I'm going to stop in a moment and we'll check. Yeah, no, I'll wait till I'm full and then I'll stop. Or the carter's here. Who's now going down the road? I'm sure it will get better. That contract is 20% complete, which is nice. On the second headland. Oh, we are full and we are destroying some crop. I think I have crop destruction on. Should have crop destruction on. Let's check that. Crop destruction on. There we go. Where the heck have you gone? You've gone completely off campus. You notice that I've turned traffic off again at the moment. That's because with auto drive running, it's generally better to not have traffic running at the same time, and particularly where I was trying to draw out the auto drive network. That was not working very well. So, the combine's full again, which means the other tractor might go off and empty on this run, I think. Right, let's have a look at what sunflowers are worth. Sunflowers are worth, actually the price is not bad now, $14.94. Ooh, will we get an early bonus cash in? I think we do. I don't have them set for the sell point set up for them yet, but I do think that we might sell these after the harvest if the price is still good, or I might set that up off camera. I'm going to switch modes in a moment, and when I do that, I'll put the bushel plus on as well. So, the truck that I am interested in is the Volvo. So I have the Platinum DLC enabled, and I want to get one of these. So it's 100 grand. Unless we can pick it up used, and then it's going to be about 50. So that'll be nice. I'm running the vehicle sale customizer mod, so we get a lot more things in there than running the same discount. So yeah, we could pick one up for about 50%. That would be very nice. It'd be lucky, obviously, to get one to drop, but I think I added in a few others. You will have just caught a peek of there's a truck in Maze Plus. And I've got the Scania in as well, so that would be another good option. I would happily have that for 60, 70 grand. Anyway, I am going to switch modes now, and we'll get this done. Future Meat will be back to ramble to you, don't worry. Yeah, speak to you in a second. Before I do that, the 7250 is on its first run to the sell point, so we will ride along because it's quite a nice little tucked away sell point. It's down a single track road out the back of the map, and I really quite like the way I had the point marked on the map, and I was like, it really is round here, isn't it? We'll also see which contract it's going to deliver to. Then I am going to stop recording like this. So it's what, 2.5 hours for course play, so that's times by, because we're playing on times 5, so that's 12.5 hours. So yeah, they're going to finish that job tomorrow. Once I've finished with sunflowers, we'll join in on some of the canola harvesting as well. Whether it's the same field or whether we move on to another field, we will see. Depends at what state that field is. It might be easier to go and do one of the other fields and have them working in separate fields. That might not be ideal though with carting. We might want the 2 carters working on the same field. So yeah, let's see which contract they deliver to. Right, we will see in a moment. I could go into better contracts, but so that's delivering for field 28, which is, I think, all the way up the other end of the map. So yeah, yes, I'm gonna have to be careful that I don't end up, completing contracts and not being able to harvest fields and stuff. But I'll worry about that. That's not your problem. So yeah, future me will be back with you in a moment, and it is really very future me because this is like 3 or 4 days later. We're up at the store, or down at the store, I guess, and I'm going to pick up the bushel plus that I mentioned, so that we do get the extra from having a correctly calibrated combine, which is obviously very important when you're doing this kind of work. I'm kind of hoping, so as I'm listening, I don't have game audio, which is slightly worrying. Anywho, it'll all be sorted in the edit, whatever. So these you can pick up by hand, and you just attach them to the back of the combine. I've already attached one to the combine that's on the contract, and that's off and running. So in theory, we should get a bit more excess off of the contract. And then this is going on our contract, which is harvesting the sunflowers. So I have never used this mod before. I had a bit of fun. It appears that it can occasionally fall through the map, which is interesting. And I went away and I actually watched the tutorial from BC Bueller, the mod creator. And basically, once it's attached, it works. So there is a separate pan, and in the real world, what you do is, as you're combining, you drop this pan off the back, and it collects what's coming out of the back of the combine, and then you can adjust if you're losing too much grain and that kind of thing. In game, as soon as it's attached, it works. So I haven't dropped the pan at any point because I've had other bits fall through to infinity. So I'm not going to do that. I don't think that's a map issue. Guessing, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy the fact that we've got a nice lump of extra yield. So I was talking about having to be careful about not completing contracts before we've harvested the fields, and I think that it ends up, probably because I end up saving and reloading a few times, the game ends up delivering the canola against the other two contracts that are active. None of it goes against the contract I'm actually working on. So yeah, it's kind of how multiple contracts in FS work. Not really anything that can be done about it. You'll take, unless they would always go to separate sell points. There's only so many sell points on a map. So what I'm actually going to do with so in this video, we're going to finish this field, and we're going to finish the canola field, or the worker's going to finish the canola field. What I think I'm going to do is the rest of what we harvest, I'm going to drop in our silo. So both of them delivered to that southern sell point anyway, so we've got to come most of the way down the map, whatever. So I'm going to drop it at our silo, get both of those fields harvested. That should mean that none of the contracts complete early. I think we can then do all the delivery at the end. I think that's safer. Having had on Maypole in a video, I don't think I mentioned it in the videos, so we've got a bit stuck here. I'm just going to cut across. I'm going to use the last of our capacity to harvest across. Sorry, I'm back. Seamless editing there. I am completely sure. So I'm waiting for someone to come and service the boiler, and I had a phone call, so I had to check to see whether that was the said technician. I wouldn't be an engineer because I don't need the boiler redesigned. Where was I? I've completely lost track. So I think I was rambling about contracts and cutting through the sunflowers, and I have literally completely lost track. Anyway, so we're combining into the night. I think I went until about 10 p.m. And then cracked on in the morning. There is a bit of rain coming as well, so not an ideal day for combining, but you know, it is what it is. Was I talking about? No, spoken about that. I really don't know. So the comment I made about sound earlier is sorted, because while I was on the phone, I did have a quick look, and I saw that in the edit I do have sound, so that's a bonus. I don't know if you can tell. I switched computers I was recording on halfway through this as well. So I started recording this on Friday, and I think probably, as I was saying in the commentary in the first half of the video, I was so hot that I gave up. I went downstairs. I put I don't think I resorted to the air conditioner. We do have an air conditioner in the house that we use for the lounge for the dogs. But I gave up. I went downstairs and sat in the downstairs of the house is generally much cooler. Heat rises and all that, you know, physics. So yeah, the bit that I was about, so you never see it in other YouTubers' videos. Whether they're, you know, better at this stuff than me, whether they just show less reality. I don't remember the last time I heard someone say, "Oh, wait a minute, the phone's going." But yeah, oh well. And that sounds like it could be the gas man turning up. We'll see. I was actually hoping, so the slot was supposed to be a morning slot, and I really liked it though if they turn up first thing in the morning, which they did not. So it's kind of thrown my whole morning with work and getting this video finished and everything else. It sounded like a lorry. Well, not a lorry, a van. Don't know what it was. Like probably most people in the UK, we've got a lot of windows open in the house, so noise transfers a lot. Yeah, so we'll see. It's going to be really fun to edit this video, and I'm completely keep losing my train of thought, which is really annoying. I know most of you don't care. Most of you just are happy for me to ramble away. So I think this video is coming out on Tuesday. I can actually have a look at that. I am organised enough to know that it is. And it's Monday, so I do kind of need to get this video finished. This is a busier week than it's been lately, so for good reasons, partly. So have been on my new meds now for 5 days. Got to admit, I'm pretty unreliable at taking them, so I do keep forgetting. But so far, they seem to be keeping the really aggressive migraines away. So, but I'm not liking the side effects. Talk about all this in a bit more in a minute. But that means that so I haven't been in the office in the last 2 weeks because my head's been really bad. I've actually got to go away for the night on a work trip this week, so it's quite good that it's worked out better. I'll be doing that via going into the office because it's on the way. But yeah, that means I need to get my butt organised, because currently this is the last video I have recorded. So most of you won't care, and at this point there's no Timberborn video recorded for the morning. I have half of a Through the Decades video recorded. And that's it. So yeah. So let's talk about meds and stuff, shall we? So the combining is just continuing. Auto drive was being a bit of a pain. I've learnt a bit more about setting up auto drive. We'll talk about that. If I don't get to it in this video, remind me to talk about it in the next video. So the meds that I'm taking are beta blockers. So here comes the rain. So nothing particularly advanced. But the idea being that they kind of calm the body down a bit. They dilate the blood vessels in my head, so everything's a bit less angry and constricted, and that means less angry head. It seems to be working. The problem is it affects blood flow and stuff, and I am finding that when I'm doing stuff that's physically active, I feel awful. So over the weekend I started running again after a month off, so my foot's better. Started running again. And felt pretty rough during the run. Sunday I did a bunch of gardening, and I felt awful throughout and afterwards, like lightheaded, really hot. It was a hot day. I started fairly early, so it wasn't just the fact that it was hot. So yesterday I took half the amount of meds that I should have. Don't judge. I'm a guy who's very much minimum effective dose of meds, and we'll keep talking about this as we go through the journey. But today I went for a run, and I wasn't so bad. Part of the problem is when I went to the doctors, I was quite stressed. So I'd had a pretty angry headache in the morning. It had woken me up at like 3:30. I was tired and I was hot, and that meant that my pulse was quite elevated and my blood pressure was up, and so the doctor kind of targeted that. And my concern, and normally for as long as I've been alive, my blood pressure has been really good. So within my family there is a history of high blood pressure and low blood pressure, and my concern is that if I take all of the meds, my blood pressure is going to be going low. So I'm monitoring it, keeping an eye on it. It's kind of high normal at the moment, which might be why the doctor was saying that I should take meds. But what I'm doing is, as I say, I'm very much and I think some of that is my stress levels have been really high for quite a while, and my diet's got worse, and all that kind of stuff is in things. I'm really working hard on improving my diet, because that's the foundation of my body feeling better, which means my headaches will go away, which means one of my stress will go away. I also haven't been running for a month or doing any exercise, and that always makes me down, so getting back to exercise is going to be good. But my plan is actually currently to take half of the dose that the doctor has prescribed, and if I need to, I can then go up. I can go up quite away from there, actually, so I would always rather take the minimum effective. I'd always rather take zero medication, but at the moment my body doesn't want to do that, so I always rather take the minimum. Nice job cutting through the field there, buddy. I actually told it to drive through crops, because I was having some issues before with it trying to drive over the field boundaries, so that the hedges sit on top of mounds of earth, and because they don't have a collision, auto drive doesn't see them, and so auto drive kept trying to go over those, thinking there was nothing there. It did not end well, and so I allowed it to drive through the crop, because I thought that would be easier. Yeah, so I'm a minimum kind of meds guy, and like I say, ideally zero, but can't do zero at the moment, so I'm doing half of the dose the doctor said to start with. I'm also, like my dad, very sensitive to medication, so I'm hoping that that will be enough to stop the really aggressive migraines but not feel bad. I'm equally someone who, I don't want to long-term be on medication if I can help it. My migraines tend to be very cyclic, so fellow migraine sufferers that are watching and listening, what I have technically used to be classed as cluster headaches, so I would get little intense batches of incredibly painful headaches, like banging your head against the wall. It hurts so much. Not knowing what to do with yourself because your head hurts so much. And that was the really good thing about the injections that I had, is once they hit, they would knock me out until the pain went away. But that's not very good for living an effective life and all that kind of thing. And eventually I managed to, through diet, which all my doctor said wouldn't work, get them under control. So I was on a lot of drugs. I was using a lot of very powerful drugs to abort the headaches, and I got for years so that I didn't need any meds, which was really nice. And I'd have the occasional really bad headache, and if I did, I'd grab an injection and deal with it, but they were so infrequent that it didn't affect my life particularly. I have a different kind of headache that I always get. I think that's genetic. My dad suffers with them, sister suffers with them, my dad's mum, so my nan used to suffer with them. Always have, suspect I always will, but again, they're generally better when I am eating well and being healthy, so that's what we're working on, with the goal being that I can eventually get off meds again. I think for me this is turning into a migraine talk. The way that I view how migraines work, from reading some books and some people, is that you have a kind of internal threshold, and many different things stack up to try and cross that threshold. And at the moment, I'm way above that threshold, and the meds, I guess, either move the threshold or move your level away from the threshold. I suspect they move the threshold because they're not dealing with the internal stuff. Maybe they do, maybe they squash it. Anyway, and what I think is happening at the moment is the things that trigger the bad migraines for me are quite often weather related, and we're having some weird weather at the moment. But on top of that, and again, family history, food is a big driver. And so when I needed to go and get some fuel for the combine, if you're not interested in migraines and stuff, I'm really sorry about this, but it's what I want to talk about. When I'm eating well, I tend to eat the same few foods. What I believe is a healthy diet, but with very consistent, and it helps manage my headaches. So that's what I'm trying to get back to, and I'm hoping that and I'm adding in a few other things which I'll talk about in the future if they pan out well, and hopefully I can get back to being able to manage it without medication. Some of you I know are going to be saying, why do you drink so much Monster when you have so many headaches? Two things on that. One, I'm still trying to cut it down. It's so damn addictive, and for the last week, nearly now, I've been waking up at like 3:30 in the morning. A combination of factors. So a couple of mornings were migraines. One morning was the beloved teenager was up all freaking night talking to her friends, and the dogs thought that meant it was time to get up at 3:30 in the morning. Oh, did she get yelled at? And yeah, so I've been and the meds, since I've been taking the meds, I've been sleeping worse. So that meant that the caffeine crept up. But then, so this morning, I made the decision to try and fix that again, because I can feel it affecting my body, and that's bad. So I'm trying, but I'm very, very addicted to caffeine. I will admit that the stuff that's in these energy drinks is awful, but I'm trying, so I will keep trying. I almost feel, and it might be because of how my personality and my body is, they're almost as addictive as some things that, they have much more serious age limits on. Question mark. Yes, I'm working on cutting that down as well. I can't see me ever getting to 0, but I will do my best to get my body back in line, because I used to be, I think life stress has been, and being in survival mode around all the stresses of other stuff in life. I used to, consider myself someone who was pretty healthy, and that's just slowly eaten away over the last couple of months, maybe 6 months. So it's it catches up, and I'm trying to push that back the other way. So in all that rambling, we've pretty much finished combining this field. In fact, we have finished combining this field, which is awesome. So in the gap in the rain, I went away and did some more auto drive stuff, but actually in the end I've started building a new auto drive network for this map, to cover everything and better, because I'm learning how to do it better. So probably between videos I'm going to get a bunch of the contracts done, because you don't need to see that, and then we'll be back when there's some, maybe either later in September or into October, probably into October, to do some more. I'm still curious as to whether you guys think I should find a way of harvesting the potatoes. I had said I wouldn't lease stuff, but I could maybe even just lease harvesters to do that. It says it's run out of fuel. Actually, it hasn't. What it's doing is auto drive has stopped it with enough fuel in it, or course player stopped it with enough fuel in it to get auto drive to bring it over to fill up, which is freaking awesome. Well done, auto drive. Let's have a quick look at how many sunflowers we've got, and we will wrap up. If I haven't said it already, thanks to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys. 133,000 litres of sunflowers. That's nuts. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Comments, questions, suggestions below, and I will see you next time on Saxthorpe Farms.